at the top, and then we land it onto the bin dumper, and then we'll dump the bin into the hopper, and then it goes into the destemmer. And
into the what?
Destemmer.
Point.
This is a destemmer right here.
Oh, okay.
And then here's the clusters of fruit drop down here. They come along here, and the stems end up coming out here.
What do you do with those?
Just dump them back in the vineyard.
Okay.
And then
Mulch, right?
yeah, and here's our whole berry fermentation right here. And this is what we will add the yeast to in the next couple of days. And after about a week or two, we'll have wine.
Okay. Now, do they stay in this while it's fermenting, or do they go somewhere else?
There's two ways we'll ferment. Sometimes in the bins, these macro bins, and also we will ferment into our stainless steel tanks, depending on how big the lots are.
Okay.
So I'm going to turn it on and show you.
Okay, that looks great.
You're going to need to change that one out. Oh, he's on it.
How do you keep them from developing molds and things like that?
We add SO2.
And that prevents it?
Yeah, but when it's going through the fermentation process, 5%, we don't need to worry about my pallet man right here.
Now, does that get covered when it goes in there? How does that work?
We'll show you.
Great. Wow. So these are what comes in?
Yep. I can go there. So this is, we cover that up because of the fruit flies.
Of course.
And then we add the yeast to that. We haven't added it yet. And then we just start fermentation. So some of these bins are going to be dumped into these tanks, and we'll ferment into the tanks. Now when we, in the tanks, we have glycol that gets pumped around a coolant system, because with fermentation it creates quite a bit of heat. And so we don't want it to overheat. We want to keep it at a certain fermentation temperature. And if we don't have glycol pumping around, it will get over 100, 105 degrees, and the yeast will get it'll be too hot for the yeast, and it'll kill the yeast, and the fermentation will stop. So we want to control the fermentation with the temperature, so that's what these dimples on the tanks are right here. This is a thin secondary tank, and all the coolant gets pumped on the inside this. And it has thermostatic control, so it will keep it with the temperature we want, so it doesn't get too hot. And then once it goes dry, the fermentation is complete. Then we will take it out of, it's basically wine at that stage, but it's still got the skins and everything in there. And then we'll take it out here to the press. Just leave it there.
Oh, so this is the press.
So this is the press. So after it's
Let's see if I can get it in the light. So that's what they use instead of feet now, right? That?
Yeah. That's the easy way to do it.
I think so.
So that's a basket press. Bo wanted to step on it, but she's not. We needed something a little bit more weight on it.
Yeah. And then this is what comes out of there, or?
No, these are not here. And then comes out right through that valve, goes through here, ends up and runs out here, and then we put it into our barrels.
So that's how it gets in the barrels.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, there was another machine I saw out there. What was that about? That kind of green cylinder that was right next to the wall.
That's another different type of press.
Okay.
This is one press,
Uh-huh.
and that's another press.
All right.
We use both of them. When everything's dry, we need both presses to keep up with all the pressing.
How long does your harvest usually take out there?
Well, about a week.
A whole week?
And it takes we're probably in production for about a month.
Uh-huh.
From when we start picking to when everything's dry.
And then how long does it take before you're ready to bottle it up and serve it?
We do a minimum aging of 18 months minimum.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, we will be all about. Okay, let me show you this. You know what I mean? You start doing them this morning. Yeah. So here's the barrel room.
And this is kept cool too?
Yeah, this is all coarse retaining wall, and this is where everything long-term ages.
Mm-hmm.
So these barrels just sit here, and we work on them. We top up through after evaporation, and we keep checking the barrels. We know what every barrel tastes like.
Is that what that's for?
Yeah.
Your wine tasting?
That's for private tasting events right there.
Oh, okay.
And then, so, they just, these barrels that just go back there.
Wow, that's a lot of wine. That's neat. So that's the whole story of how the wine is made, is that right?
That's it. Well, there's blending, and there's blending things that we work on. We do a lot of blends, and that's really important. And there's multiple steps all the way along. And then after we've blended, then we have a bottling truck come in, and we have all our blended wine sitting in the tanks ready, and the bottling truck comes in, and we hook up the bottling truck, and all our production gets bottled in one day.
Wow.
We have about 15 people working with a bottling truck, and it goes in just with wine into the truck, and it comes out all bottled, cork foiled, labeled, and goes into onto pallets, and it's all pelleted, and it's all ready to go.
Wow. Yeah. Now, do you distribute it just through here?
No, just tasting here. Room and wine club members only, and they take up all our because we're a small boutique, low production winery, so we have very limited distribution, just to selected restaurants, and
that's neat.
Pretty much it. Yeah.
So I really want to thank you for giving me this tour, because I've always wondered what happens after it gets out of the field.
Hey, well, you might start enjoying a nice glass of wine every night from now on, Bob.